So what's important is how you carry yourself and how you present yourself. So with that being said, like right now, right, I have like this V cut. So I can walk in the room and the guy think like, oh, she probably trying to, no. So when I introduce myself, I'm gonna shake your hand super hard. And then I'm always gonna have my backpack.
That's the four brothers.
I'm always gonna have my backpack. I'm gonna have my backpack with my laptop in it, and I'm gonna bring it out no matter if I'm working on something or not. Because I need your mental to carry into a whole nother direction to think I'm an extra girl in the room.
We're back with another episode of Change Agents. Today, we're gonna interview one of the dopest, most annoying, most beautiful people in this space. But I'm Trav.
This is Caleb.
And it's your girl, Porchia Marie, with Dope People Meet.
You cross-branding?
Wait.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, can I introduce myself?
You know what? To be honest, though, I like that because you're the first person, you're the first guest to introduce themselves.
Really? Okay, introduce me.
No, it's great. I like big personalities. I think that's part of your allure.
You know? Okay, now I want to see what you got to say about me.
Before we get into that, and before I get in trouble, first of all, I would like people to say what they want to tell the people they do. You have a whole lot of different things. I can run it down, but I want to see how you put it all in one.
No, that's why I want you to put it together.
I was gonna say it's really hard to quantify everything that you do on for real. Like, I mean, from a director to producing to working events to curating events to, I mean, modeling, everything. So it's no
marketing,
real, like, title
Nike model
that can really explain everything
fitness
that she really
influencer.
does.
I know it's a lot.
So, you know, when we talk about the show Change Agents, we just elated, you know, again, to have you on the show. So excited, appreciate you coming out and spending time and talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
And this is actually your second time here.
Even
though you forgot you came.
I just came from a different direction.
We big, like, it's a lot of different ways.
But I did do my Nike shoe 2.0 in here, and it was fire.
You gonna do 3.0?
You gonna run it for me?
Nah, I'm chill. But let's jump into it. I think we're currently running campaigns on, you know, different things, and one of the things that we really wanted to highlight was women in the entertainment space. You know, not outside of nothing's wrong with singers, but I think it's so many other different lanes that people don't think about, kids don't think about, women don't think about, and it's just, I love your story because, you know, me doing my research, and I've been a fan since you did the Nike shoot, so I kind of followed your trajectory, even the stuff that you like archive, like I know all the fitness and all of that stuff, but to see that you do PR and marketing, to see that you have you're CEO of 3 companies?
2.
2? Technically 3, because Dope People Meet is 2 companies.
Okay, more money for me.
See what I'm saying? So it's a podcast, and
you know what
I'm on
I do?
Yeah.
I'm on it.
You better tell me about myself.
I ain't gonna let you miss no money.
That's crazy.
I ain't gonna let you miss no money.
I am the CEO of 3 companies, y'all. Dang, that's crazy.
So when you started this, the question we asked everybody, when you started your career in the entertainment space, what did you see that you wanted to change? Like, what made you say, I can do this and I can do it different?
So my whole thing was like with me and going to school in Arkansas, right? I just feel like coming to Atlanta, I had so much exposure to so much more, right? And I was like, dang, if I had the resources and the knowledge I had right now moving to Atlanta, back then I'd be so much further in my career. So initially my target audience were college students.
Yeah.
And then my audience just grew bigger outside of that, right? And so I was just like, you know what, let me connect them with the people I have relationships with at these big corporations, these different entities, and merge them together. So basically, I'm kind of like the middleman between these brands and entities and then their targeted audience. you know, and I'm bringing it into one space. So that honestly was like my whole idea, my whole goal was basically trying to help these young aspiring entrepreneurs, artists, creators, whatever, come into a space where they can meet these people that they feel like they would never get to meet.
Yeah.
So that was like my whole like concept and idea behind that. And I just feel like the game was missing that. Nobody's genuine enough to want to give out the resources or to connect the dots. Everybody went like, it's mine, you gotta figure it out like I did, get it out the mud, all that weird shit, but yeah.
Or they want you to give them the credit for everything.
That part.
The whole time.
That part.
Yeah.
I get
For
that.
sure.
So when did you move to Atlanta?
September 17, 2014.
Why do you remember that specific date?
It's the day before my grandmother's birthday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you went to school in Arkansas, and you're from Memphis, right?
West Memphis. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, raised in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The bridge is the connector.
I never even knew that.
I never knew that either. Yeah.
I know Kansas City is like that too, because Kansas City has Kansas City, Missouri, and then Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, or St. Louis, East St. Louis, all that, whatever.
East St. Louis and Illinois.
You got Augusta, Georgia, then you got North Augusta, which is like South Carolina.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So, being from West Memphis, or being raised in West Memphis, did y'all have like rivalries between y'all?
No, so in West Memphis is a small town, so you did have the east side. No, I lied. You have the west side, the north side, the south side.
Yeah.
That's how it was. The west side seemed to be like the uppity part, then the south, and then, you know, the north side was kind of like so-called hood, but in its own perspective.
Right.
So it's just like a little, you know.
Yeah.
And then what college did you go to?
I went to the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's where I got my bachelor's in mass communications, broadcast journalism, and then I got my master's in sports administration at Arkansas State University.
Ooh, you say degrees.
Degrees.
Yeah, so I really wanted to just talk about, like, you know, it was a time on Instagram before Reels, before everything that we seeing right now on Instagram. Like, it was a time when it was like just 15-second videos, and you was like making really dope content out of that 15-second like window.
How do you remember
but way
that?
before, like well before that was a thing for like creators and content people.
My gosh.
Like, what was that process for you to kind of like get that started?
First of all, how do you remember that?
Well, I mean, you know, we used to work together like a long time ago. I think we worked on like maybe 1 or 2 projects, like 2015, 2016, where I think I shot something for you or like a client that you was working with. And I just stayed tapped in then. And I really study people, like, you know what I'm saying? And you was one of the people that I did study just the way that you did things, because it's like, you know, obviously, like, you doing so many different things and you doing it well, and it just like, I just applied that mindset and that perspective to what I did, so that's how I knew that.
That's so dope. No, that's so dope, because what's crazy, really, me and Marquise Garden, Corey, however y'all know him, Garden.
My guy,
We literally, he's the one who helped me create that content, which was crazy. And I literally just said to him last week when we linked, I was like, yo, I said, if I was still doing the content I was doing when we had 15 seconds, I would be killing everybody in the game. And I stand on that to this day. If I drop that content today, right now,
go crazy.
to recap, people gonna see like, yo, you was not playing. Like, my recap, my shit was so fire. You can fuck with me.
And so it's just like, when you think about, you know, people just coming in and creating dope content for these brands and, you know, not having all the resources, but you figuring out a way, you know, like, what was that like for you?
So my whole thing was like, I was tapping into sports and entertainment, right? So my whole concept, I had the PM effect. So some people, if you know about the PM effect, you was really rocking with me from the ground up, right?
No, I remember.
So the PM effect was a sports and entertainment outlet. So my whole thing was sports. Entertainment fell in my lap when I started interning at Radio 1, which is now Urban 1. And so pretty much like, I was just centered around like sports, really, and I was more so highlighting that. So you go see those recaps. They're still on my YouTube. If you go to the People Me YouTube, you will see it. Like, it's pretty much recapping like little sports plays and stuff like that. So my whole concept was trying to tap into the sports arena as the analyst and as a journalist, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was doing the 15-second clips, and I report on whatever was in the news, and I put it on Instagram.
Right.
So that was my way of reporting. I probably was on the field with them, but I would bring it to Instagram. So it was showing them like, okay, I'm really tapped into the game. I'll blog after each game, and I'll post it the next morning. Like, I was kind of like a news source, literally, and I have a book full of all that content, even to this day. Like, yeah.
So you really probably, I know you probably won't take the credit for it, but you probably influenced the way people did content and the way Instagram changed how people do content. And a lot of times we don't want to take ourselves too seriously, but like I always tell people, these brands and these companies, they really just watching the people that's moving shit. They don't know what to do. They don't have none of the sauce, so they have to wait on the influencers, the creators to really say, okay, this is working, boom, let's go do this. Just like Instagram followed TikTok and follow all these other people. They really follow us first, and then they take off with it, and then the next company follow them.
You know what? What's today? Is today Wednesday or Thursday?
Today is Tuesday. You ahead of your time.
She busy.
I'm really ahead of my time. I'm Throwback Thursday. I'm gonna do a Throwback Thursday. You gonna make me do a Throwback Thursday?
You got to do that. Like, you just got to post it, because it's like that's all good content that you still have that you can repurpose, you can use in a new way. Like, and just to piggyback off what you said, like the micro influencers, they influence the influencers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you were doing before people even knew what that was.
Facts.
So
that's crazy.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yes, that is crazy.
Yeah, so
that is wild.
The dope shit about that too is dope shit lasts.
Yeah.
Like, you keep saying how you remember that, You don't forget dope shit.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people aren't trying to do dope shit, they're trying to do what works.
Yep.
They're not trying to innovate. But when you do dope shit, like, there's moments in culture, in sports, in music, that no matter what you say, people are gonna remember it. Like, it might be a death. Like, everybody know where they was when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so real.
You can pinpoint
that's so real.
where you was.
Yeah.
But I also can pinpoint where I was the first time I heard Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares in the club. Or the first time I seen Trap or Die. Like, it's so many different cultural moments because dope shit lasts. And I think if people get back to saying, I'm just going to do some dope that I don't see, we'll have a lot better ecosystem.
Agreed.
So, you know, I think the events you do to get into dope people meet, because that's what happened. The events you do kind of help bridge that gap where, you know, a young Caleb can meet a young Porchia.
Yep.
And
Facts.
What made you say, okay, I want to be not only just the influencer and just, you know, kind of connect the college with the brands. Now it's like you're trying to connect the community. What made y'all want to start doing that?
Yeah.
So pretty much I was working with these interns. I have interns at University of Memphis, and so I started tapping into the artistry at Memphis, right?
Okay.
And they felt like with me in Atlanta and the power and the influence I had working with these different artists, they was like, yo, why don't you bring this to Memphis? Memphis is missing this. The University of Memphis don't even have this. They are not cultured enough to even curate anything for artists or aspiring artists or entrepreneurs or creatives. So pretty much I started doing this DJ battle. I did a DJ battle. I did 2 of them, actually. It was crazy. I forgot the name of it. It was like, it's gonna come back to me, but pretty much I did
100 events ago.
100 events ago.
1,000.
It was, yeah.
1,000.
So I did 2 DJ like battles in Memphis. It was crazy. We had some really dope like people, like students from University of Memphis, they came out. They was like, yo, keep doing this, keep doing this. So I was like, you know what? It's about time for me to do something in Atlanta.
Right.
And I was just like, I was kind of nervous, I will be honest. I was a little nervous, but I'm also fearless. If you know me, you know I'm a very fearless person. Me moving to Atlanta was very fearless, no job, nowhere to live, but we'll go into that.
Yeah.
But pretty much I was like, you know what? I want to curate, but I was like, I'm not from here. Is people going to accept me? Are people going to really come out? Like, you know, people don't really, you know. It was like, people know my face, but they don't really know me for events.
Yeah.
So long story short, my mentor is Jason Reddick. One of my mentors is Jason Reddick. He's the director at ASCAP.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what? I was like, I want to do an event. And basically I had this wild idea to do all this stuff in an ASCAP office building. And he basically told me my idea was stupid. The initial idea, this is before I came up with Dope People Meet.
Yeah.
He was like, my idea was stupid. He was like, it's too much, da 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 da. I was upset. So I left his office. I got in my car, I started driving. So when I'm in the car, I'm the most creative. So I was driving, I was like, okay, what can I do? So I didn't let that defeat me. I was like, okay, well, Porchia, come back with something else. You got to come back with something else because he just tried to play you. So now I feel like now I got to prove a point to you, right? So yeah, now I got a chip on my shoulder, right?
Yeah,
and so basically I was driving around and I was like, okay, I was like, when people meet and da-da-da, I'm like thinking of all this stuff. And so at the time, I also had this platform called Dope New Artists, where I was highlighting artists, so I called it DNA.
Yeah.
Which was, like I said, any artists from Memphis that my interns had, artists from Atlanta, wherever, all across the world. If I found them on SoundCloud or whatever and I thought they were dope, I would highlight them on the platform. So I was like, I want to keep it in the same name, but how can I make it make sense? So I was like, okay, how can I use like dope or new or artists? But I was like, okay, dope, maybe dope will be the word we'll use. Then I was like, but I want people to meet. And I was like, dope people meet, bet. So I went to him the next day and I was like, yo, I got it. Dope people meet. He was like, okay, I'm gonna open up the doors, don't ask me for nothing else. And that's literally how I started creating my events. So I did Dope People Meet ASCAP. It was flooded. Like, it was so many people in there, people standing outside because it was so hot in there. That's how many people it was.
Yeah.
And so from there, it just expanded and it grew from there. I didn't even expect it. Like, what was so crazy, I remember my homie was like, yo, I heard it's going to be, like, get there early because it's going to be, like, at capacity. And I was thinking, like, me?
Nah.
Like, what on me? But, you know, he said that, but I'm not thinking it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be nice, but I didn't know it's going to be, like, packed out like that.
Right.
So it was just crazy that when we were in there in the moment and when before I knew it, like, it was flooded, I was like, oh, we on to something.
Yeah.
And literally from there, that was just like, that was it. Like, that was just it. I just wanted to curate an event, and then from there, it just came way bigger than myself, so.
Like, that's like so powerful to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, going from, like, meeting with somebody that you admire is different. You know what I'm saying? Versus like meeting with like a stranger. Like you really value this person's opinion, and they be like, nah, like this ain't it. Like that's like the lowest point that you can be at.
Yep. Facts.
Like, why keep going? Like, why did you keep going?
Because you gotta understand, when I came to Atlanta, right? You gotta understand too, I'm the only girl. So I grew up with 4 boys. And so I lied to my mom and my grandma. Like, I don't know if they know that to this day. My grandmother passed, so she don't know. But, you know, my mom, they don't know this. I lied to them when I tried to make it seem like I had it together. I didn't have it together coming to Atlanta. I didn't have no job. I didn't have nowhere to live. Luckily for me, the next day, so September 17th, I was headed here. September 18th was the job fair at the Georgia Congress Center.
Yeah.
Okay, so on my way here, my homie Adam Lee, that's my dog, I was giving him a shout out because on my way here, he literally was like, yo, I live in Madonna, it's far from the city, but I have a closet for you to put your clothes in and a futon for you to sleep on. Bet. I was grateful. I was like, I don't care, it's 45 minutes, whatever. I just want to get it. I'm hungry. And my whole thing was, I didn't come here to go back. You know, at the end of the day, I didn't know in the back of my mind, right, that I have a mom, I had a grandmother that loved me enough to allow me back in the house. Like, right now, I still have my pink walls with Porchia on the wall from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to, I can go back home and be, you know, but that's not an option for me.
That's not your destiny.
I didn't come here to go back.
Right.
Literally, it was to a point where I had to strategize in my head. If I was homeless, I was going to get my windows tinted, and I was going to go to a parking lot or whatever and sleep at night, go get a membership at, not even LA Fitness, what's the other one?
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, because it was $10 a month. I was going to get a membership, and I was going to go in there and shower every day and get on my hustle. I literally had it mapped out. If I had to be homeless, I wasn't going back home.
So, like, with that, like, and we only, 10 minutes into this, like, episode for real, like, and you shared, like, a lot of games so far, like, just that hustler mentality, that self-starter mentality. So many people, so many men, so many women, like, they get into these rooms or they look for these opportunities and they kind of get lost and they just start spinning.
Right.
But you didn't let anything stop you. You just kind of kept going. You kept evolving. You went from that first tour, that first event, and just kept, like, growing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, like, what advice would you give that, 19, 20, 21-year-old, woman that wants to work in PR, wants to work in management, wants to work in events, like what advice would you give them?
Well, it's funny because like whenever I went back home to church or whatever, and you know, they saw me moving to Atlanta and doing all these great things, right? So the pastor's like, well, you gotta speak, you know, they always want you to get on the mic. And so I'll get on the mic, and I honestly used to tell the kids, I was like, the parents, y'all probably about to be upset with me, but I was like, live your life. Be fearless in anything that you do. I was like, you can't base your next like venture in life off what your parents think or feel like you should do.
Yeah.
If it was up to my mom, literally, I would be a nurse. I would be a doctor of some sort, right? And honestly, I wanted to be a pediatrician at one point. I wanted to be a radiologist at one point. I wanted to be a math teacher. I really love math. That was like really my heart.
Yeah.
But when I realized teachers didn't make that much money, I was like, nah, they ain't gonna
What's
work.
the square root of pi?
Huh?
Never mind.
It's gone.
I'm just playing.
Relax. but I really love math, so I really want to be a math teacher. So if it was up to my mom, I would be a doctor, right? But I realized, I was like, I can help people still without having been in the hospital the rest of my life. I was like, I don't want to be in the hospital the rest of my life. So I just tell young kids, like, do whatever you aspire to do because you have to take care of yourself. My mom's not taking care of me right now.
Yeah.
So just imagine me doing something that my mom wanted me to do, and I'm having to being miserable and having to take care of myself off what she wanted me to do and not something I love.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
So many people kind of get lost in like their parents' dreams versus like what they want to do.
Or their parents' fears.
Right, their parents' fears. That's a whole different thing too.
Listen, my mom for the longest didn't understand what I was doing.
Right.
You know, she don't, like, you gotta understand the older generation in general, period, not just my mom, they don't understand entrepreneurship like that. All they understand is something consistent, work 9 to 5, know you're gonna at least be able to pay the bills at the end of the month. They're not used to this fearless thing, like, but how you gonna pay your bills? They're like,
why are you even risking that?
Exactly. They're not risk takers like we are now. Like,
my parents still have no idea, like what we do for real. Like,
you know what's crazy? My mom, I've been trying to like help her understand along the way.
Yeah.
She kind of get a little bit more, I would say, within like the past 2 years than she ever has. But the parents don't. They
don't get it.
And what's crazy about y'all parents, about y'all careers is y'all don't have. You co-own this. Yeah. So, like, now you can bring your parents here, and it's different. Right. But, like, for 10 years, even when I was in the medical field, my job in the medical field was a job that you don't hear about. Like, I repaired surgery instruments. So my dad, who worked in a tire factory my whole life, he didn't understand that. Like, I was making 6 figures in 14 days a month, and my dad was like, yo, you don't want to come work at Target? Like, they hired. And he wasn't being insulting or nothing. He just couldn't see it. And like Kanye's fourth album before his mom died was supposed to be Good Ass Job. Because that was the trajectory. You go to school, you go to college, you're not supposed to drop out. If you drop out, you go back. So now you late registration. Then you get to graduation, and now you get a good ass job. That was their blueprint.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't until literally when Georgia played Alabama this year in the SEC championship, my dad came here for the first time.
Really?
And he saw how big it was, and we probably had like 4 productions going at the same time.
That's like January.
And he finally was like, "You're okay." I've been okay 12 years. But
that's real. But they can't really grasp until
he couldn't grasp it. Even I paid my dad car off when I got my first check, my first big check. And even though I paid it, I think somewhere in his mind, he was like, I don't want to ask him where he got the money from. Like, maybe he thought I did something I wasn't supposed to do because he couldn't grasp my job. It wasn't until I was able to physically say, hey, this is my building. Me and my team, me and my partners, we do this every day. He was like, and that make how much? Okay, cool. You had who in there? Okay, cool. And it's funny because I showed him the Nike shoot, and he was like, oh, you work with Nike? Now, when our kids do something, we gonna see it on social media, but they're not from that world. So my dad ain't never, I don't care how much, I can get 5 billion views on a post. He's never gonna see it.
Yeah.
So they don't really get it. Hearing all of this is one thing that like I love about it, right? Well, it's a lot of stuff I love about it, but you know, not to say it don't happen, because it definitely happens. Women are definitely like marginalized and have a harder time getting into these rooms. but it's like miraculous because in 8 years you've been in so many rooms, you've been able to do so many things. Do you feel like it's been harder because you're a woman, or do you feel like you just have kicked doors down no matter what?
It depends on the environment, right? So what's important is how you carry yourself and how you present yourself. So with that being said, like right now, right, I have like this V cut. So I can walk in the room and the guy think like, oh, she probably trying to, no. So when I introduce myself, I'm gonna shake your hand super hard. And then I'm always gonna have my backpack.
That's the four brothers.
I'm always gonna have my backpack. I'm gonna have my backpack with my laptop in it, and I'm gonna bring it out no matter if I'm working on something or not. Because I need your mental to carry into a whole nother direction to think I'm an extra girl in the room. So for me, when I walk, depending on the environment, most of my environment be majority men because I work in the entertainment space, I'm in the studio, whatever it might be. So I always make sure I present myself in a certain way. And that can either be intimidating to another female in the room, it could be intimidating to men in the room. And sometimes men don't understand. I've literally been in the rooms running the show, and a guy will walk in and will not even speak to me. He'll speak to everybody else in the room and will like.
And won't acknowledge any women.
Yeah, and I'm like, hello.
Like, this my room.
Yeah, like, hello, how are you? Like, I'm a human.
Yeah.
You know, regardless if I had a man or not, but you could still speak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, out of common courtesy. Like, and maybe it's a Southern thing too. Like, I'm like, if you walk in the room, you need to speak.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know? But outside of that, also though, being a female and being an attractive woman, it can be difficult because I can get a conversation right with the top executive, but then they're trying to date me. And I was just like, I don't need your date. You know, I
don't need your date. That's a bar.
Paying me a check. And you over here talking about this meal, like, nah, I'm good. I can pay for my own meal. Help me get to the next destination, you know? So it can be difficult depending on the environment or whatever, but I try to make sure I can control my environment.
Yeah.
And I make sure I'm talking to the right people so I can get into the next environment, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think you intimidate from like people who know of you? Do you think people who know of you are more intimidated or more willing, or just kind of understand that, all right, she ain't for play, so let's handle the business?
It depends. See, the thing is this, I'm a people person, but I'm not for everybody. And I always say that because that's real. I can intimidate a big dog. I have intimidated big dogs. That's some real shit, which is crazy to me because these be people I look up to. Yeah. I promise you, it be people I look up to, and then they be acting all weird, and I'm looking like, baby girl, I want you to help me. I ain't trying to intimidate you. Let's work together. Like, that be my mindset. And to be honest with you, and this is on some real, like, honest to God truth, I don't compete with nobody. In my mind, I'm always competing with myself. When I do my events, I'm not going looking at somebody else's events to see how I can do their event better. No, I'm trying to see how I can do my last event better than
the current one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm always competing with myself, and that's just where I'm at. And people don't understand that. People be so intimidated because you got to understand I have a bold presence. I'm loud, you know, I'm bubbly, I'm cool, I'm down to earth. People don't like that. Fly. You know.
So to piggyback off that, I think you said something really important. Like, I feel like for a lot of women, men and some women too, like, they expect you to tone down to fit the environment. Like, speak on just like being your authentic self, being you, and letting people adjust to you.
Yeah, you have to, like, own up to your true being, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to, like, I hate fake stuff. Like, I just hate fake stuff. Like, and for me, I don't know how to tone it down. Like, you're going to read everything in my face. So I don't even know how to be fake. You know what I mean? I just don't know how to be fake. So for me, I always tell people, be your true self. Like, people gonna love you or not, but you can't stop being you because other people are feeling some type of way about it. Like I said, these people that I've been in rooms with that became intimidated, like I'm not about to demolish or diminish myself in a way to where it's
you
like
feel comfortable.
And to be honest, at one point I did do that, like in certain environments, and I realized like
it didn't feel right.
No, it didn't feel good because now I feel like I'm in this box, right? And I want to talk, but I gotta be like this. And that shit hurt my voice.
Yeah.
That's a bad feeling.
It's a horrible feeling, you know. So and like I said, as long as you being respectful, as long as you honoring the space that you are in, like you're respecting all boundaries or whatever, you're not disrespecting nobody, be yourself. Everybody's not gonna, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a people person, but I'm not for everybody. So I understand I'm gonna walk in some rooms, everybody's not gonna like me, regardless of how cool I am, how genuine my heart is, no matter how much I wanna see them win, how much I wanna see me win, everybody in the room win, everybody not gonna see that. People not gonna understand that. So I just feel like people gotta understand, like, be yourself regardless. Like, at some point it's gonna reveal itself. You ain't gonna forever be able to be fake.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna reveal itself in some environment, like it just is.
Got you. Another question I had, I always like to try to like reel things in and make things relatable for the people that's watching. Again, just for like women that's trying to get into the industry that you in and don't really know what that first step is. Like, what advice would you give them to kind of get started?
Well, I would say, like, and I know a lot of people try to get away from the internship space, right?
Yeah.
But you
I hate when people do that. I'm sorry.
Everybody think they can just like jump in and do it. No, baby.
Yeah, right.
You need to intern.
Yeah.
We intern, like most people I know that I came up with, we intern.
Right.
And honestly, internships help you understand where you should be, what is your interest, and all of that. And so I say you should really enter in a space where you can really intern to be hands-on and figure out what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
You know, like you really do have to do that, because for me, I didn't just jump in this saying, oh, I'm about to do events. It didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know I was going to enter into that space of event. That wasn't even my mindset when I started it. That's why I was like, it expanded way beyond my dreams and what I wrote down on paper, you know? But I encourage internships still to this day. And every internship ain't going to be paid.
Right. Yeah.
I always tell people, I don't believe in paid internships.
Me either.
Because I paid to intern. And what I mean by that is, when you're a legit intern, sometimes you don't even get the person to say, hey, we have an internship program.
Yep.
Somebody might see something in you and they say, you can go with me.
Yep.
Right.
But you got to find your flight, or you got to drive there, or you got to do whatever. One of my biggest mentors, we interviewed him on our first episode. His name Hovain. Hovain, and he managed everybody from Troy Ave to Tommy Hilfiger to not Lloyd Banks, Cameron, all these people. I met Hovain by happenstance, kind of. Like I had a little access to certain things. I had a skybox in Madison Square Garden, and I invited some people there, and he ended up being one of the people that came. But because we just had a natural thing, he just started inviting me places. Mind you, I didn't live in New York. I lived in Atlanta. So he was like, yo, Black Panther premiere, which is full circle because Black Panther was shot in his garage.
Yep.
But
yeah.
Black Panther premiere, me, Charlemagne, and his family, and my family. Only people going. You should come. That was a $600 ticket that I had to buy in 3 hours to get there. I went to the premiere. I didn't speak to, I spoke to everybody, but I didn't, try to ingratiate myself.
Right.
Charlemagne don't even show his family to the world. So I wasn't going to make myself known or do all this extra stuff. I went to the premiere. I left the premiere. I had to be to work at 8 o'clock the next morning. I slept in Newark Airport, got on the next flight, came back, went to work for 12 hours, and then came to A3C. It was something with A3C that week.
Yeah.
None of that stuff I got a dime for.
That's crazy. And people, but you know what? People don't have that hustle, don't have that hustler mentality no more, right? People feel like you're supposed to give them everything. And it's like, baby, I don't owe you nothing. Because like you just said, if people understood the things we went through, like you said, I remember before I went on tour, I literally had about 6 jobs at one point.
Yeah.
Before I became an entrepreneur, I had 6 jobs. No, I'm lying, 4 jobs. I had 4 jobs.
That felt like 6 probably.
Yeah, right, for real.
Yeah.
I had 4 jobs. I quit all them jobs thinking in my mind too, I'm about to work in the entertainment business, I'm about to be rich. No, baby. And literally, I went on tour thinking I was about to be paid. Baby, no. And I'm like, I got bills back in Atlanta.
You had to get a per diem.
Man, look, so far it's two main things I just want to point out that we don't talk about so far. It's everybody needs to have mentors.
Yes.
People we've shadowed, and this is probably the third or fourth episode where we really revisited this conversation about mentors. Like, you need mentors.
With an
People-
S.
Multiple. That's why I said
Like-
Desiree is one of my mentors.
Exactly. You need a mentor for this, you need a mentor for that. Like, you need a mentor for just mindset. You need a mentor for your career. You need a mentor for everything. Like, you need that. And then also the next thing is like sacrifices. People don't sacrifice shit no more.
Nothing.
And that's the issue. Like, you know, I worked for free for years. You know what I'm saying? Just to break even.
You still do stuff for free.
I moved to Atlanta in 2014. I didn't start making money from nothing till 2018.
Right.
From my brand, that was my first year making money from my brand. You get what I'm saying? I didn't make money from the PM effect. And no, babe, like, people don't understand. But when you say mentors, raw mentors, people that are able and willing to be raw with you and honest and blunt, and where it cuts so deep, they'll make you cry, but it's going to make you stronger.
But you need that.
Yes.
And it's like, in this day and age, in 2022, like, you know, and I'm not trying to blame, you know, the younger generation, but they're afraid of that feedback. They're afraid to be told what they need to know about what it is, because the person out there, they're not going to give a fuck about you, and they're going to tell you like it is. So why not get it from me?
Yep. They got egos, though, now. They want to fight, and it's like, baby, I'm trying to help you out.
Right.
and this is unpopular, like, and I say a lot of unpopular shit, so it is what it is. But I feel like, you know how they say the pendulum swings, right? I feel like advocacy has, like, overcorrected. So, like, you look at all this stuff we do, even this conversation is advocating for women to be in position, for kids to be in position. But I think because we fought so hard to remove so many obstacles, now they think it's owed to them. And it's not. It's only owed to you when it's taken from you, not before you earn it. So it's like, I always say, you can't work for me as a, like, inside the company. Like, we can do work for hire, but you can't work for me and get salary and get paid if you wasn't willing to work for me for free. And it's not because I don't want to pay you. I just want to know that you're here for the work.
Thank you.
And if you work for free, you're here for the work.
That's so good. I literally used to tell everybody that used to work for me, especially when I started the brand, I was like, if you're here for the money, you money hungry,
just leave.
Go somewhere.
You gotta go, because this is a growing business. If you're not in for the long haul, literally, I swear to you, I will never forget. The one time that, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, whatever year it was Christmas, and I was finally able, I believe it was 2019, I was finally able to send my staff, it was like 10 of us total, $50 a piece. Mind you, for 8 people, there's a lot of money. But it felt good for me as an entrepreneur to be able to give the people that work with me a Christmas gift, even though it's $50, but it made me feel good to be able to give that away, you know. And it was like, because y'all work so hard, like, here's a Christmas gift. I don't think I really even given my real friends gifts like that on Christmas, but it felt good to give my staff, right? But I told them, like, whenever I can look out for you, I'm always gonna look out for you. One thing about me, I'm very loyal. So most people that are still around, or people I hire now to get paid for my events, are people that was with me from the jump. And I make sure that I look out, even if it's not for me, it's for anybody else. Oh, you need a photographer? Bet, I got somebody for you. Oh, you need a chef? Bet, I got somebody for you. You need this? I got somebody for you. And I always make sure that I feed back to the people that looked out for me when I was coming up. But nobody wants to work for free, and they feel like, well, I mean, I got to pay bills. Baby, I have bills to pay too.
Or it ain't mine. This your company. And
that part.
That's
why I don't like putting a post like looking for, because I feel like
you get the wrong people.
Yes, and they're not as invested. When you have people that come to you and be like, hey, I see what you're doing, I would love to be a part, they're a lot more invested than people that you actually put out a post to go see.
Right.
That's just being honest. So everybody around me know I don't like putting up posts. I probably once in my life put up that type of post, and I put it in my story. I don't even think I put it on the timeline. Like, because I'm like, we'll see if somebody bite back.
You're going to get the clout chasers.
Yeah.
I had one thing I wanted to well, before I even get into my question, the fact that you had 8 to 10 people working for you and you gave your last few dollars to them, like, that's commendable. I got a lot of respect for that, and I love that. Like, for real, like, you giving your last to the people that grinded with you.
That was $1 million to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So serious.
Yeah.
And which is crazy.
And I know that feeling, so go ahead.
You know,
yeah.
just because, like, and then when I have been in different settings around people with so much more money, and they be horrible to their team,
right.
I be like so confused. I'm like, how could your heart not look out for the people that's been grinding with you?
Yeah.
You have the financial stability to feed these people, make sure they look out for these people.
Or just be pleasant to these people.
Yeah, right.
It don't cost you nothing.
So mind blowing to me when a person with my amount of money that's willing to give whatever I can just to make you feel good,
right.
and you feel like I'm supposed to do all this work and get nothing,
right.
and you way well off than everybody around, but okay.
And you talk to me like shit. What was your question, though?
I was just gonna ask, so, like, I mean, like, I'm all for more women running businesses, owning businesses. I would love for, like, a woman or multiple women to run my business. Like, how can we as men...
I would love to have a team of women run everything we do, and let's feed off each other.
I'm gonna say this here, like...
That's not pandering.
Like, women are the most loyal people on earth. Most loyal. When they locked in, they locked in.
Fact.
Men, they jump from one thing to the next because they had that curiosity.
Yep.
Men ain't, except for papoose.
Right. Women though, when they locked in, they locked in. So I just love that. And so I guess the question that I'm trying to get to, what I'm trying to say, what am I trying to say here? How can we as men bridge the gap so more women can be in those leadership positions?
Be respectful of us. Especially when you have somebody like myself that enter a room, I'm so valuable, and I feel like a lot of opportunities have been like shadowed or taken away from me because I wasn't willing to be the it girl, you know. And it's so hurtful. Like, I remember times I've cried about it, where it was like situations or conversations or meetings that was supposed to lead to another big thing, and it didn't go because I wasn't willing to be the it girl. And just respect us. You know, allow us to like you. If it's going to be that and it's supposed to be that, allow us to give you that. But don't come at us when you know we are really trying to work hard and just have an opportunity.
In advance. Yeah.
We just want an opportunity. That's being real. And it's funny because I literally said this one time, and my homie told me, he was like, don't say that no more. But I was like, it's honest and real. I was like, if I was ugly or fat, you wouldn't mess with me. You would allow me to do my job and do what I need to do and get the job done. But because I'm an attractive woman, you bother me.
Yeah.
You don't even allow me to get to the job because you so focused on the date.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I say men should respect women and allow us to be in a space so we can operate and have the opportunity to grow.
Right.
And if we like you, allow us to come at you.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a hint,
yeah.
but don't come so full throttle. It throws us off. And my whole thing is I'm not going to be in a space where I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. I don't care how much money it is. I'm not going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I want to get into a quick fire because that's a great point. And I also... in my last company, I had this thing where I wanted every person to have an intern or an assistant of the opposite sex. So I wanted every woman to have somebody, a male to work for them. I wanted a male to have, and I wanted those people to do like focus groups. So like, say you have a male and Caleb have a woman, and then at the end of the week, we sit down and talk about how y'all treated them. Because if you leave them by themselves too long, that's when you kind of get all that stuff done. But just to switch gears a little bit, because I do want to touch a little bit more on Memphis. I got Memphis connections. My stepdad lives in Memphis. And we actually have talked about wanting to do this in Memphis. I've never said that on camera. So I want to have one of these in Memphis. And I know it's a lot of politics in Memphis because, you know, kind of like what you felt when you came here. Like, I'm not from Memphis. But, you know, Memphis got everybody in the world. Like, y'all kind of transitioning into putting yourself right next to, in competition for Atlanta for like the top in entertainment right now. CMG is going crazy.
Right, fact.
But you being from the area, no beef, no nothing. I just want to do like quick hits, like this one or that one, or word association, which some we don't do. So I'm not gonna be cliche. I'm not gonna say Dolph versus Gotti because I feel like that's drama.
And just to be clear, I'm from the area. I was born, it's on my birth certificates. Don't be like, oh, she from West Memphis, baby. I'm from West Memphis. I was raised in West Memphis, Arkansas. I rep it to the day I die. But I also own Memphis because that's where my mama and my family reside, period. So I just had to get that out there.
Y'all heard that?
Facts.
Y'all heard that?
So don't come for me. Talking about she ain't from, I don't want to hear it.
Facts.
It's in there though. I can tell you being in Atlanta, but it's certain stuff you sound like, yeah, that's Memphis.
Yeah.
You hear it a little bit. But Gotti or Jeezy?
Gotti.
Money bag or Lil Baby?
Whoo, baby. Oh, gosh. Do I really have to do that?
You got to. Got to.
Oh my gosh. I would do Moneybag Yo the service by choose a Lil Baby, but
Gotta keep it real. You're a cohabitant. You can't be unfair to us.
I love them both. I can't pick both.
You gotta pick one. Cause we ain't got no shots for you to take.
Gosh. That's really
See, I ain't like the way you picked that Jeezy so quick, so I had to throw it.
But I love Jeezy.
I love Gotti
But
too.
what's crazy, I love Jeezy. I love Bad, and I love Baby. Like, what you want me to do?
I got one more after this.
That's tough. Okay, Lil Baby.
Ghana or Black Youngster?
Ooh.
Ghana.
That's two. I ain't gonna ask no more because we won. And let him win.
But, okay, let me go back.
Nah.
Can I go back?
This is my
Free YSL. Go ahead.
free YSL.
Free YSL for sure.
This is my final question. And did it?
Yeah.
Kayla have another question. I hate asking people what they plan to do in 5 years or 10 years, right? Because you didn't think you was gonna do events. What do you want to change in the next 5 years about your industry?
I want to tap into tech. Just know that. Bridging the gap with sports, entertainment, and tech. So I'm about to dive into some shit every year. So like, you know how everybody have New Year's resolution, right? Have birthday resolutions. I just turned 30 this year.
When your birthday?
So May 3rd, Taurus game.
You was almost with
Happy
us.
belated.
You was almost.
Where are you? Don't say Gemini.
You was almost
Lord.
with us. You was almost with us.
Don't tell nobody that.
Man, it's only great creatives that's Gemini.
You talking to a Gemini and a Scorpio.
Scorpio. Oh.
Yeah.
My daddy and my little brother is a Scorpio, but I just dealt with a male Scorpio.
Yeah.
Hey, what? We can get into that after.
Yeah, we were talking about
geniuses.
that. Something ain't right about you. Cool, but something ain't right about y'all.
What'd you think about Andre 3000?
I ain't never dated him, so I don't know.
Oh, so dating Gemini.
Creative. I would not ever date.
I might be a little hard to date.
I would never date a male Gemini ever again in my life.
You can't just blame one.
Honey, I dealt with 3. What's crazy, I had
You struck out 3? You struck out on 3?
Now this is the crazy part. I dealt with 2 on a personal level, 1 on business.
She's so hyped, she about to come out the chair. You said she like, I'm sick of these.
Listen,
man.
no, I'm telling you, that's how you know it's bad. I dealt with 2 on personal, 1 on business, and it was not good. I'm telling you. I think y'all make great. What's crazy, I have my closest homegirls are Gemini females,
Gemini
which
women
is
are
different.
nuts.
Yeah.
But they're different because they're my friends. I ain't dating them. Men, I can't. I just can't.
I lied. I got one more question.
Go ahead.
Who's your mark?
Wait, what was our question when we went to the signs? What was the question?
No, it was what you wanted to change, and then we just kind of. You said your birthday. You said your birthday.
Oh, let me go into that. So, how people have New Year's resolution, I have or a New Year's resolution or whatever. I use my birthday. That's when my new year starts over. It don't start over January 1st. It starts May 3rd.
Okay.
And so every year I ask God to redirect me or direct me in a new space or where I can expand, use my creative ability and intellect to expand the brand and make more money. Mm-hmm. And so I've really been like in my head, like, okay, tech. So now I'm really having to like get myself deep into it. Beyond just saying it, actually now
studying
and doing the work. Mm-hmm. So like when I came up with Dope People Meet, when I thought it, like that was 2018, And so May 4th, the day after my birthday, is when I asked God for that vision. And I had my first Dope People Meet experience June 26, 2008. I'm sorry, June 26, 2018. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today's like, let's see, today's July 19th. Whatever. You know, it's like a couple of days later than June 26th.
But you're gonna get it.
And I'm gonna get it.
Your birthday is exactly 1 month before mine. But I'm older than you.
How
But
are you?
I'm 34.
Okay.
Who's your mark? Like, who's your bar? Who do you look at and say, that's where I'm going? Or that's the person that get your inspiration going? Nobody.
I used to have somebody, but I don't want to say their name.
I feel you. That's real.
I respect that.
That's
Yeah,
real.
The name it's kind of respected, not respected anymore.
Yeah.
Which kind of had me kind of like off balance. Like, dang.
Have you
for
met
real?
him?
Yes.
Was it bad when you met him?
It was good.
Oh, well.
It was cool.
But it's like that public perception is like so off to where it ain't even worth mentioning.
Perception of
I feel you.
myself. So
Yeah.
that's the
real.
reason why I don't want to say the
You
name.
want to tell me off camera?
But I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
But the beauty in the person, regardless of what the media try to say, and that I did admire and love, is when you say their name is well respected and people gonna show up and show out for that person. Because it's just a respected name and brand. And the other thing is a mystery behind the person. Everybody's trying to figure out, well, what do they do? What does she do?
Right.
Everybody's trying to figure it out. And with me, I feel like it's a mystery with me. If you know me, you kind of know. I still feel like you kind of still don't know.
I know who it is.
But do you?
I bet you.
I bet you do too. But it's a mystery, and I feel like, so for me, that's why I say it goes back to, though, the reality is I don't compare myself to nobody. Even that person, I don't go on the Instagram. I probably see their Instagram maybe like 5-10 times a year. I don't even see their Instagram like that. It don't come on my timeline like that.
Yeah.
It's the difference between admiration and comparison.
Yeah.
I can admire somebody. I mostly admire people that I don't want to do what they do.
I'm gonna tell you who inspired me though, and it's gonna be kind of cliche, whatever, but Beyonce, I'm gonna tell you, you know when she did the Homecoming, that documentary was so inspiring. And I'm gonna tell you why it was inspiring, because like outside being a woman in fitness and all that type of stuff, but the fact that she showcased a vulnerable moment of herself as a woman and showing that, yes, I have money, but I don't have to go get surgery and all that stuff. I'm gonna show you that I can really get it out of the mud, and I'm gonna show you this journey. I'm gonna show you what it's like to be a mother and still be a hard worker and still build this empire and still have my partner beside me and killing shit with me. Like, that whole documentary, every time I watch it, it just gives me like some type of fire behind my like.
A new inspiration.
Yeah, it give me inspiration and make me want to go harder every single time. And it's because outside of her partner, she has built her own stable. She built her own empire, and together they are so powerful. And so that's somebody that I feel like I just admire.
Right.
And just the creativity and the willing to be fearless. When she did that HBCU tribute, they weren't ready for that.
They weren't.
They wasn't ready for that.
They're never ready for what she do.
They're never ready.
I always say I don't trust women who don't like Beyonce.
You said what?
I don't trust women who don't like Beyonce.
Oh yeah, because they hate.
Like, you don't have to be a Beyonce stan.
You don't
have to think she the best, whatever.
Exactly.
But if you don't like Beyonce, or you got a disdain for Beyonce, I can't trust you. You pure hater.
For real.
So, last question I had, like, we talk about like the high moments all the time, like the happy moments, like the moments where everything's good, or you just like did this that was really dope, or you just did that. But, you know, throughout your entire career, like, what was that lowest moment like for you, and how did you kind of like pivot out of that? Like, what was that change like? Like, so just talking about that moment and then talking about the change that it took to kind of get to the next level.
To be real, I don't feel like I had a low moment in my career.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because what I'm about to talk about was, some people will say it's the lowest moment.
Right.
It wasn't. It was a powerful moment for me.
Right.
I took my account to $0 3 times in 2018 when I started my brand. Nobody knew. Literally, I remember one day when my account went to $0 and I stepped out that night and I looked like I had $1 million in my pocket. And the reason why is because in those moments I was fearless enough and I trust God enough to the point where I was like, I'm about to risk it all for my brand, for something that I believe in 1,000%, because I know I'm gonna get it back tenfold. And literally, I felt like, and people gonna probably think I'm playing, but I promise you, when I had $0 in my account, I feel like I had $1 million. No cap. And the least amount, I think the most time I went without any money in my account with $0 was like 3 days. Some way, somehow, somebody called me like, can you do a sponsorship day? Can you do this? Can you do that? And literally, like, money just, like, fell right back into my lap.
Yeah.
So those are moments people would consider low, but it wasn't a low moment for me. Because I didn't treat it like a low moment. I treat it like, oh, no, this is my baby. I'm putting everything I got into this.
Yeah. And what you specifically talking about, so everybody knows, is manifestation.
Yeah.
You manifested your way out of that situation.
Yep.
Regardless of what it is on paper.
Yep.
Like, you found a way, and that's how you started getting those calls. We talk about, like, law of attraction and the book, The Secret. Like, that's what that is in real time.
Yep.
So I always say, if you didn't go broke doing it, you didn't love it.
At all.
I don't care what it is. If you didn't go broke in
Right.
your relationship at some point, like, it's been times where, like, I know my girl at that time wanted this, and I know I got a check coming Friday, so yeah, I might have to empty it out on Wednesday. It's been plenty of times where we don't have this, and it was like, bro, we gotta go shake something, and then the next day, Chris Brown called, or the next day, Nike called, or the next day, something called, and it's like, bam, we got $5,000 to go build out whatever the next dream is. Then next day, $20,000 come, $30,000 come, and then you might have to spend $40,000. But it goes like that, and if you don't show up on the days where you don't have it, the same way you show up on the days when you do have it, one day you're never gonna have it again.
Facts. So. And it's crazy because even in that space, right, I remember having people was like, well, maybe you should go back home. Anybody that was like, I should go back home, I cut them off.
Can't talk to them.
Yeah.
I literally cut them off.
Because you're not seeing what I can see.
You're not seeing what I see. Why would you tell me that when you know the option is not to go back home?
Right. Right.
You can't think in the mindset of, oh, my parents love me, I can go back home and sleep in my bed.
No.
I ain't going back home. And what's crazy, and I'll leave it with this, before I moved to Atlanta, I had this black board. So I called myself trying to create a vision board, right?
Yeah.
Literally the only thing, and I still have it at home. So when I go back home and visit my mom for her birthday, I'm going to take a picture of this board. Literally all that I wrote on there in this in gold, it says the PM. And literally since I've been in Atlanta, I built everything from the PM, which stands for Porchia Marie, my name. The PM effect, the PM firm, Dope People Meet, DPM. Everything stems from my name. I built everything from my name. And that's the only thing that's on that board, literally. Like when I go home, I'm gonna take a picture and send it to y'all. Y'all gonna be like, wow, this is crazy. And I built everything from that.
That's amazing.
Everything.
Money bag gonna be waiting on you when you get home. But nah, man, that was a great episode, man. We could talk for hours, but you know, you super dope. I'm not saying that because you're here. Like, I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And you know, I'm more of a fan now because I feel like I got to know you better. Mm-hmm. But one thing I'm a fan of is people caring about what they do. I don't care what it is. I might not like what you do. If you care about it, I'm a fan of that because so many people are doing stuff they don't care about. So, you know, that's my final words. I wish you nothing but success. I know it's going to happen anyway because you're a killer. Caleb?
I was just going to say, if you could just shout out just some of your brands or some more things that you do.
All 19
you know what I'm saying?
of them.
Like, let's just go ahead and talk about that. Like,
so we have the PM Firm. It's a boutique entertainment marketing company based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
That stems from PR, management, marketing, etc. And then we also have Dope People Meet. It's an event curation platform where creatives meet. We also have the Dope People Meet podcast. And one thing I love about the podcast, and I feel like this is a podcast setting, is that I built that during the pandemic. So this goes back to getting it out the mud and figuring out a way, even when the world is shut down. So I created the podcast because we wasn't able to touch the people in person. I wasn't able to do this next to you, but it's okay because I'm gonna talk to the people for you through the podcast. So we still was meeting with these dope entities and these dope people, but now you're listening or meeting them through my lens and through my conversation. So those are my babies. Support my babies, dopepeoplemeet.com. PMFirmInc.com. Follow me, your girl Porchia Marie, at Porchia. Make sure you spell it right because it's French, okay? Marie. But yeah, follow me, follow my brands, like support us, support young black entrepreneurs, especially all of us getting it out the mud and, you know, just trying to make a way out of no way.
Facts.
Cool. Change agents, we out, baby.
Let's get it.